Hi, darlings. We are talking guilt motivation today in human design. We'll begin with a beautiful quote. Every problem has in it the seeds of its own solution. So, guilt motivation. Sounds super fun, doesn't it? Guilt motivation. It is fun. It is needed. It is necessary to moving us along as a collective. And if you have a guilt motivation, you are designed to have practical solutions. As I mentioned in the quote, you are meant to see within a problem the seeds of its solutions. Guilt motivation people do this innately. They're wired to do this. If you're a guilt motivation, that statement should not be surprising at all. You are hardwired to find solutions, to get into the nitty-gritty of a problem and break it down step by step. And I get the privilege of seeing this all the time with my guilt motivation clients and friends. And I notice that they are often the ones that I will go to when I'm needing something explicitly, simply clear. And what's interesting is guilt actually holds the transference, so the shadow state of hope, which is my motivation. Hope is my motivation. So when I'm in guilt, when I'm seeing my own problems through guilt, I am not seeing correctly. Now, for guilt people, when they are seeing through the lens of hope, they are not seeing their situation correctly. So guilt motivation people are really intended to say, this is a problem, here's what I need fixed, and here's how we're going to fix it. And when they are not wanting to look at a problem, they will go into hope, which says, I'm not going to look at that. It'll all work itself out, and I'll deal with it later. Now, that's a little bit of avoidance mixed with hope, but usually hope transference leads to avoidance, which is definitely not, it's not designed to be that way. Hope is inspired action. It is in spirit, pregnant with spirit, and it is grounded in the knowing that all does always work out and that there isn't always action that's needed to be taken. Now, guilt motivation people, this is not your deal. You are designed to take action. You are designed to figure out what that action would look like. And to make it practical, make it step-by-step oriented. So I have a really funny story about guilt and hope, and I actually didn't mention this in the hope video, but I think it's a very funny one for the guilt video. My bangs are very fluffy right now. I'm like kind of a little tiny bit distracted by them. Okay, so here's the story. So we are in Cacao Circle, and I'm sharing cacao, and one of the clients, or one of the guests that's there, begins to share something that's on her heart about launching a new business, but it's been delay after delay after delay, and she finally realized that the source of the delays was coming from her feelings of inadequacy. Now, if you've done anything new in the world or started a business or been a trailblazer in any kind of way, you will know exactly what this feeling is. The feeling of inadequacy. Who am I to do this great big thing, right? What qualifies me to do this big thing? Now, some people will stay stuck in inadequacy for forever and ever and ever. Now, I really feel like we helped this woman bust through this, and here's why. She says, it's taking me forever to start this thing. I'm feeling like, am I the right person to do it? Do I have enough trainings? Am I qualified enough? And my hope motivation just enveloped her in so much love. And I just said, it's okay. Of course, you're doing something big and it feels expansive and uncomfortable. And that's how you know you're doing something important in the world. And I was like, I felt the exact same way when I moved through this as well. And when I began my business, I had all the stories of why I shouldn't and why the, market was oversaturated with what I was doing, and I didn't have enough experience. And I trusted that even still, my voice was needed in the space. And so I leaned into it and I began, and it got easier and it got better, and my voice was needed, and my business has been successful. And you're going to get through this too. So this is hope, right? This is hope. It tells a successful story of the past. It tells a story where someone also felt downtrodden and persevered through and made it through, and it inspires spirit, right, in another individual to keep going. And then this is the funny part. My friend and client who was next to me, who I knew through running her chart, was a guilt motivation. She was like, yeah, that, but also you really need to work on those mirror affirmations. You need to get your confidence up before you start trying to help other people. You should read this book, this book, this book, listen to this podcast. And oh yeah, you might want to book a session with me because I work on empowerment in practical ways. I was like, there you go. And the girl was like taking it all in. She drank the hope in, and then the guilt. She's like taking notes when the guilt motivation came in, and it was laughable. I actually was like, look at hope and guilt tag teaming this woman. It was so beautiful. And I honestly felt like she got everything she needed. The hope just gave her that lift. And I could tell she looked up to my journey because it was similar to hers. And so the story that I too had began in that way really gave her confidence of wow, okay, someone's journey can look like this, even though I didn't think it would. And then the guilt was like, oh, and by the way, you need to work on this, and here's how. It was so beautiful. Such a perfect representation of guilt moving in a powerful way. And of course, my friend is sassy and theatrical and a Leo, and so she said it in a very theatrical way. But guilt doesn't have to be shaming somebody. It's just practical. It's just solution oriented. So I'm going to read a little nugget here for you. And as always, I'll include it in the caption too, where you can read a little bit more about it. But like the fifth line, guilt is able to spot the flaws and struggles of humanity and present alternative. Guilt motivation's strength is providing solutions. People with this motivation need to understand that they are ultimately the person they have always needed to come into the picture and fix things. You are your savior. Studying tools and systems that allow you to understand yourself and or the landscape of your social environment will give you extra confidence confronting that which needs changing. So beautiful. I will finish this with one more really powerful quote that I felt embodied guilt motivation so powerfully. Plans are only good intentions unless they immediately degenerate into hard work. I love you all. I love you, guilt motivations. Please stay bringing your medicine, not only to the world, but to yourself. If there's something that is out of alignment in your life, look at it. Get the details. Get the solutions. Face them. See them. And notice how at peace your body becomes, even if none of the solutions have been implemented yet. Just the art of looking at them is the motivation of guilt. I love you all.